Afrodita Stototsi has feared making this visit for 10 years. But today she is going to confront her uncle. He's taken over a plot of land in the village of Slatine that belongs to her.
This is my property here. But he simply built a wall around it.
After the death of her father, Afrodita inherited the land. Now she wants it. But her uncle keeps out of sight.
He took my entire inheritance. All I've got left from my father are these photographs.
Her uncle believes he's in the right and refers to the Kanun, the traditional Albanian law first codified in medieval times. It says that women are subject to men and have no right of inheritance. Afrodita and her mother have fought the case through the courts for years. But despite the rulings going in their favor, their uncle has never been forced to hand the property over.
Since 10 years, which is absurd in 21st century, and the case is still on the procedure. So this is how we see that the bad practices that the courts are applying in the relation of the respecting the rights of inheritance for the woman.
Few women succeed in securing justice. We've come to Kruše. In the Kosovo War of 1999, almost all the men were murdered by Serbs. Since then, Kruše has been called the village of widows. Fahije Hote is one of them. Her inheritance was denied to her by her parents-in-law after her husband was killed.
As a widow, it was very hard for me to make a new start after the war. But I decided to carry on and build something for myself and my children. The situation for women in Kosovo is harder than elsewhere.
She set up a cooperative together with other widows. They make regional specialties out of vegetables. And they're successful. The preserves they make are even sold abroad. She's using the money she earns to rebuild their ruined home, but her father-in-law still insisted it belonged to him.
Six months before he died, I took my father-in-law to the lawyer and convinced him to allow the house and property to be registered in my name. He wasn't happy about it, but he felt he had to agree because I had rebuilt the house by myself.
In the village of widows, Fahije Hote is the only woman who owns her own home. The others all had their property taken by male relatives after the deaths of their husbands. Studies show that happens to 85% of Kosovan women. The government in Pristina is aware of the injustice, but no one in the Justice Ministry seems to be in a position to change that. The situation is at its worst out in the countryside.
We have a legal guarantee. We have equal rights for both women and men to inherit. We're trying to shift away from this tradition, but it has not been easy because it is something deeply enshrined within the society.
Afrodita Statovice and her mother Vahida have not had their own home for years.
I have to beg. Sometimes people give me food, others give me something to wear. Others give us a place to sleep. It's awful living like this when I know that I have a home, my father's house. I was his only child.
Many widows in Kosovo face being reduced to poverty. Like Afrodita Statovice and her mother, they're powerless against the Kanun, the medieval common law that gives women few rights.